I just shrug my shoulders. Eh?
My character's actually like just kind of slowly turn to Al and just kind of try to closely look at him to see if he has like any sort of thing on him that might upset a cat.
Al just kind of like looks, sees that, flings his hands up in the air, and just goes, "Ah!" and just like starts walking away.
My character
wait.
would actually
Mila's
just,
gonna race after him.
just kind of hurriedly walking like behind him, just trying to check over his shoulders and things.
Al, don't make a scene!
Well, I don't want to stay here by myself without any of my friends.
So I guess because I know that I guess they're following me, I'm just going to head towards the first other person I see.
Okay. All right. The first other person you see is Kennedy Dodge, which is the blonde kind of medic that was kind of introduced to you initially. She was moving from one group to another before you intercepted with a yelling Mila and Patrick and Tom in tow. And she kind of gives a bit of a start, and she kind of looks behind her to see if you're mistaking her for someone else. And she goes, "Oh, hello. We were introduced just very, very briefly, but I'm sorry, I forget your name," she says to Al.
I'm Al.
While he's saying all these things, I'm going to be very much in his personal space over his shoulder, trying to like look over it and maybe like down his coat to see if he can find anything.
And I'm gonna be like I'm Al, and then I'm gonna look at Patrick and be like, and I may need new friends.
Mila's like kind of like hopping next to him, like, maybe you still can be friends with him, but I'm just saying that you come off a little off-putting sometimes. It's not your fault.
And Kennedy says, she's like, "Oh, wait. I heard rumors that we're going to pick up some new folks here at the Post. Are you the new clown act that's going to be supposed to be coming by?
Yes.
This is really funny, by the way. This is like physical theater, right? As like Patrick is going through your pockets and Mila's peeking over his shoulder."
And I think that Al would just like look at everyone, look at her, look back, and then his face would just kind of give up, like it go blank, and just
I'm now looking for cat toys and clown makeup.
and I think Al would just say in a completely resigned voice, "I guess we are."
Like, "Oh, okay. Do you have a name for your act?"
Do I get the squeaky red nose?
She's like, "That's not up to me."
I was talking to Al, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Apologies.
We're pineapple.
Pineapple. That's cute.
Wait,
She
Mila's
says,
just gonna
My
cover her eyes.
character like wide-eyed and then like quickly like looks away.
And then Al looks at each of them with a little smirk.
The squirrel crawls up Mila's shoulder, and Jackie brings up a little paw and shakes it at her. She's like, "Oh my goodness, you have a squirrel in this act too. You guys are going to be amazing."
Mila, with her eyes still covered, the squirrel's name is Jackie.
And I think Al gets a certain amount of satisfaction by making everyone flinch.
I quickly turn around and is like, that is for serious situations. This is not okay.
And kind of Kennedy just kind of gives a bit of a chuckle, and she goes, "I'll have to check out your entire act. I'm sure Caleb will have, some sort of preliminary audition. Hopefully I'll be able to go in. If you excuse me, though, I have to say hello to a few more folks. It was really nice to see you.
And then
Meet you again, Pineapple."
Al,
And when she says Pineapple, the squirrel, once again, looks to Al.
My character does not look away, but looks very disgruntled at Al.
Al literally
Tom is
sticks
very
his
annoyed at
tongue
Al.
out.
Alright.
He then,
Sorry, what was
the
that,
character
Tom?
sort of like looks away a little bit, like the tongue is gonna flash at him or something.
Tom is very annoyed at Al.
Al, you are not making any
Very,
friends.
very annoyed.
Oh, my. Anywho, with this a little bit, parent calls everyone for dinner with a few clinks of the glasses and whatnot. And it's quite the feast. Is obviously some little bits of conversation strike up, obviously, while things are eating. Most of the conversation is mostly directed by parent. He's asking Zoe, oh, how's the last leg of the trip? Any problems? Kind of just general questions in regards to that. And Zoe says, she's like, oh, no, it was pretty good. She's like, back in Innisfail, someone tried to get into the projector to try to steal the movie we were playing, but after a good jolt, it kind of deterred them. So other than that, though, pretty standard fare. We made a good haul too. They didn't have a lot of universal credits, so we traded in a variety of foodstuffs and a few jeweled items. He goes, oh, okay, that's good. And you do notice, however, in the conversation that Perrin's right hand and Zoe's left hand kind of dip underneath the table. And let's see here. Everyone give me a D100 roll, please.
Mila, you should have got on that real estate when you had the chance.
Yep, okay. Al and Mila. Al, you notice Perrin kind of give Zoe a bit of a wink. And Mila, you do notice the look that, a woman gives a man that she's affectionate to. It's clearly not just a professional discussion that they're having, so to speak. But other than that, other, bits of random conversation, some jokes. Dear God, the elf, just give me a second. The elf Siren, he is now going on a diatribe of listing off the local girls that he had carnal knowledge with. And Giovanni, the firebrand, in between, he's kind of smoking and then eating and then taking a few more puffs. And he's trying very politely to tell Siren to shut the hell up and it's not proper dinner conversation. And now Siren's trying to convince him that, yes, it is. Back where he's from, they used to talk about this all the time, and human beings just need to lighten up and all this other stuff. So that's kind of the rest of the murmur of the conversation. Is there anything you guys want to strike up while eating, or do you want to wait till after dinner?
My character would be
Sasha in the
deep.
room?
Sasha is very commonly at Perrin's side, and sure enough, she's sitting there very, very politely, very obediently to Perrin's left. And from time to time, no, he doesn't do that. She kind of whines, wanting to be fed, but Perrin doesn't give her any food because she's on a strict diet. He doesn't want her to get overfed and have a shortened lifespan.
YOLO.
Don't say YOLO.
I apologize.
No.
YOLO with the
I only
disabled.
have one rule in my Rift campaign.
Don't
That
say
is
YOLO.
do not say fucking YOLO.
It's an oddly specific rule.
Never say he's not a lenient GM.
That's asking
Anyway.
too much. I'm sorry.
I'm just teasing.
Are you guys having a falling out?
Oh, Sue and I had that before
Oh.
we even got on the Skype call.
Yeah,
together.
yeah. I think we had a fallout the whole time she was on vacation. It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick
Tom
is
is more.
good. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. Tom is gonna kind of keep to himself as well.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
My guy is just elated with such gloriously cooked food.
Yeah, it's pretty prime stuff. I mean, the last time he ate over at Parents was like a breakfast of pancakes, and that was really good. But this is this is a really
Mila's
good meal.
gonna just fall face first into her food and fall asleep.
Oh, no.
I guess Al would gently like pick her face up and put it down sideways and maybe clean it off a little bit and just leave it be.
The Miss Kennedy, the blonde woman, we'll just say medic for the lack of a better word, Kennedy Dodge, kind of just stands up a little bit because she was across the table from Mila, and she looks to you, looks to Al real quick, and she said, while you're brushing off, she's like, "Is she okay?"
Oh.
And kind of the dinner kind of stops for a moment, and looks, and there's looks of concern.
And I would say,
Especially-
Mila? Oh, yeah, she just needs a little nap. She's fine. Then go back to what I'm doing.
My character would look up, hear that he said that everything's fine, and then went back to eating.
Okay.
My character would actually take this time to look amazingly like he's just eating his meal and focus on nothing but the meal, but test out his new hearing to see if he hears, to basically to just listen to everything around him, and only if I hear something of interest more than just chit chat should you even bother. But I'm just so you know, I'm going to be testing out my new ultra hearing thing.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You're not going to go up into the high frequencies, though,
No,
right?
no,
Because
no.
that just makes everything sound like mwah, 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 mwah.
Right.
Like Charlie Brown on acid. So, I'm just trying to think. Look, give me just a moment here. I'm just wondering if there's anything that would really pique your interest that isn't just chit chat. No, they really would just be. They're weary from the road, so they're just kind of sharing a few tales with Perrin. And, BSing with each other. But honestly, I can just say
That's
nothing.
fine. He's more using it as a training to get used to it, and to also just to practice his training of paying attention to everything while looking like he's not type thing.
Okay. Mila still has some mashed potatoes on her nose.
I left that one there on purpose.
Tom's gonna
Little
reach
shit.
over and wipe it off.
Thank you. This is
Take
coming
his
from
napkin and wipe
Kriana.
off her face.
Thank you, Tom. You are my only true friend.
Yeah, not the guy that picks your face up out of the mashed potatoes. No.
Hey, you left it on my nose, man. You saw it. Okay. It's not important. It's not important. What I'm saying is really not important. Please continue.
No problem. So, so I know, does Mila plan on sleeping, or is she going to sleep through the rest of the meal, like through dessert too?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this fantastic fried ice cream that Perrin brought in, and it's set on flambe, so to speak, which is like it's set on fire real quick and then extinguished. And I'll let you wake up anytime you want.
Can we roll to see if that wakes me up?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, sure.
can I take some for her and then kind of
Like-
wave it in front of her face to see if she reacts or anything?
Sure, you might want to not wave her in front of the face just yet, because the servants come out with just like small lighters or matches to start the enflambe, and sure enough, the firebrand says, "Oh, wait a second. I'm sure we can appreciate a little bit of showmanship, huh?" And all 80-plus desserts were laid in front of everyone. He kind of just raises his hands up, gives a little bit of a maestro little flick, and they all just light up instantaneously. And 3 seconds later, he just kind of brings it down, like bringing down the sound of an orchestra. And sure enough, they delight just like that. And now you can probably wave it in front of her face.
Yeah, now I'll wave it in front of her face like.
Goes on fire. Mila, that's a good question. Anyway, but yeah, so that's dessert as well.
My character would be really confused, like, why did you just light my ice cream on fire?
You do that.
It was just momentarily.
Yeah.
There's actually, if you're really curious, Aaron can speak directly to you, Patrick, and he says, "Oh well, sometimes my chefs like to get really fancy, and it was bathed in or braisoned with a bit of alcohol, and some of that actually." the flavor ignites when you light the. All right, Mila's still sleeping.
Al's
But
getting a
anyway-
second piece.
And anyways, the alcohol, once it's on fire, enriches the rest of the ice cream. So, or so I've been told. I've had it without flambe and with flambe, and I have to say, this whole fire thing, it does work out, despite you not wanting, your ice cream to melt.
He's sitting there he goes okay, but he's obviously like almost distressed by this, going like in his own mind, going like, how, it's ice cream. You shouldn't light that on fire. Ice cream. It's just going to be cream if it's lit on fire. You're not supposed to do that.
Cool. All right, so you have dessert. So Al eats Mila's ice cream too, I guess. But
No.
sorry.
If Al starts eating her ice cream, I will slap his hands
What?
and take it from him.
What? Why? So it can sit there and melt? It's not going to be
Try and
any
wake
good.
Mila up.
I did.
Did you?
You
Yes.
didn't. You just waved it in front of her face. You didn't actually try and shake her.
I'm not going to shake a woman that's that strong.
A lot of the table is listening to this conversation because they're very interested.
You know what?
Conversation.
All of a sudden, Al just like, never mind. You can have it.
Okay. And Tom will get up out of his chair and go over to Mila and gently shake her, try and get her up.
Okay. Mila, you have the choice of just waking up. I don't know how much of a deep sleeper you are, so I'll leave it to your discretion.
She's pretty out of it. Let's go with the same rules as before.
All right, so the shake, unfortunately, does not wake her up just yet.
Okay.
It was a gentle shake, though. So.
I will try and shake her a little bit harder. And
Okay.
So that's +2.
I love this. You're making your own rules to wake up. I love this game so much.
D20 +2 because he's shaking me.
Four. Nope. She snorts and sputters a little bit, but is not awake. All eyes are on you now, by the way. All eyes just on you.
I will try one last time a little bit harder.
Okay.
And then
So D
+4.
+4. All right.
Another fun.
Okay. She
Good.
she finally kind of flutters her eyes and then just like tries to put her mouth over the ice cream.
You think it's when you just open your eyes, you see ice cream. And you
Yeah. That's exactly what she's gonna do.
Okay, at this time, Kennedy just looks to the people on either side. She's like, it's okay. It's a clown act called Pineapple. And all of a sudden, the squirrel pops up on Mila's shoulder, shakes his finger at Al, and then disappears back.
I'm gonna pat Mila's
Oh
head
my
and then go back to eating my ice cream.
Patrick then takes out a small notebook and writes down.
People,
Alex.
some people awkwardly start to clap at the end of this. Continue with their decision.
Al, like, I guess he was oblivious to what everyone else was doing. He just kind of looks up in surprise, like, what's going on? Why are people clapping? Like, he's not saying it, but just kind of thinking, why is everyone clapping?
You hear your ultra ear. That's a really weird bit. I don't think they should be doing that while we're eating.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a thing, isn't it?
You guys did this shit straight.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
That's
jeez.
fantastic.
So Inferno, when I have the first chance, I'm going to go and try to buy smelling salts.
Okay.
That's just going to be.
That
Are you
would
gonna
definitely be like a
treat yourself
+5.
to dinner? Sure. Are you gonna wait till like after dinner? Like, is this just something to keep in mind for the next day, or are you gonna actually excuse yourself to leave to buy?
Oh no, it's more of like once I get out of the party, I'm most likely gonna try to.
Okay, so you know what? Just to save ourselves a little bit of time, why don't you add it to? I'm gonna take it off your tab, so to speak. Why don't you just add it to your page right now while we remember, and we'll just keep that in mind that that's what you do later on in the day, right?
Okay.
Or later on in the evening, so to speak. Just so we don't forget about it.
Okay.
Because there's no real need for you to roleplay like, I would like some smelling salts, please, and the clinic gives it to you, and they're like 20 credit. And you give it to them, you know what I mean? So, actually, we just did the scene
I
right
was
there.
gonna say.
There you go.
Thank you, store clerk.
Thank you.
What did you say, Pip?
Thank you, store clerk.
You're very welcome, customer. End of
You
scene.
see, like a 1930s, like
Just like getting out there, like putting on and off a hat while dancing on the store.
he just kind of gets away. Okay, back to cereal.
Back to ice cream is what
Oh,
you meant
that's
to say.
All right. So,
Mila's still just kind of like lazily, like finally sees a utensil and picks it up and just starts eating with it.
Her face covered in ice cream.
Yeah, her face is definitely covered in ice cream at this point.
if you could read minds, Perrin is now thinking, I'm really glad I didn't hit that.
That's way too much baggage.
Too crazy for finger. Let's just
Too a
say.
little bit crazy for finger, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. My stomach hurts because I'm laughing so much. This is the goddamn cat in the tree thing all over again. Alright, so... I have to get my composure. Alright, so... dessert has ended. After a few people have gestured to Mila that she has something on her face, encouraging her to wipe it away with her napkin, sure enough, the conversation does turn towards business. And Zoe says to Perrin, she's like, oh, these colorful individuals here, they must be a part of the new act that you're adding on to the group. Vera goes, yeah, although I didn't know they were planning on doing a clown thing. It was more of an interest in their individual abilities. And Perrin says, we have ourselves an established doctor who can help you out, Kennedy. I'm sure you could probably use the assistance. And Kennedy gives a bit of a nod. He says, we want to add in a curio shop, kind of a traveling oddity store. And we have procured quite a few special items for this that Mr. Patrick here is going to help, I guess you could say, adjudicate. And with that words, the elf kind of lights up his eyes, and he starts to say something, but Perrin kind of raises his hand to be like, I'm not done talking here, just hold on. He says to Mila, she's like, this lady filled with personality, he says, gesturing over to Mila, has a wonderful voice, and I've had a chance to hear it firsthand, so I think she'll fit in with the main show quite well. To which the fellow in the goatee,
Caleb?
Caleb, thank you. Caleb goes,
I
well,
remember that.
good stuff. Caleb says, well, yeah, all right, I guess we'll see about that. And finally, Perrin says over to Giovanni Bonfield, he goes, Firebrand, this is, and he gestures over to Tom, this is a fellow of similar talent that I think you will be able to incorporate into your act. And Giovanni kind of gives a look over to Tom, gives him like a once-over type of thing. He shrugs, and between puffs of his cigarette goes, yeah. I think this things will work out just fine. And Perrin then kind of looks kind of apologetically over to Zoe and Caleb, and it says, the thing is that we have some very non-standard contracts with these individuals, and to that, Zoe kind of raises an eyebrow, and she says, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, "Well, unlike the rest of the folks that we'll be hiring on, you don't have to worry about paying them a weekly wage. That's kind of already being taken care of." And she says, "Oh." He goes, "Indeed. And there's also a stipulation where they can leave the group from time to time and rejoin later down the road." To which both Caleb and Zoe go, "What?" And Caleb starts to go up. He goes like, "Listen, Perrin, I know you we appreciate your patronage. Don't get me wrong, but what's the point of me trying to schedule acts if these people are just going to leave from time to time?" And Perrin goes, "Well, hold up. We don't need to talk to these folks like they're not in the room. We can engage in the conversation here. I'm not saying that you guys wouldn't just spring up in the middle of the night. You'd give us ahead of time. You would let the group know ahead of time that you'd be leaving for a few days, correct?"
Of course, of course.
Yeah, definitely, totally, maybe.
Exactly. And Perrin says, "Caleb, people get sick. Heck, I've obviously in the past years, individuals have gone AWOL, just, left without announcement. You've been able to figure out, come up with new schedules on the fly. You're a very talented man." Caleb kind of gives a bit of a nod at the compliment. He goes, "Yeah, it's not that. It's just more the principle of the thing. I mean, if they're employees, they should act like all the rest of the employees. That's the whole idea." And Perrin says, "Well, how about this? Since they're not technically on the same pay grade as everyone else, don't really see them as full-time employees. Why don't you see them as, part-time fill-ins?" And Caleb goes, like stand-ins? He goes, "Yeah, just an additional part of the group to enhance it from time to time. It won't come out of the bottom line." And Zoe says, "It's not coming out of the bottom line at all." Perrin goes, "Yeah, of course. And they're gonna, if things go correctly," he looks over to your group, and he says, "they'll even have a behemoth to add on to the fleet." And with that, many eyebrows raised, and they go, "Really?" Then and Zoe says, "The behemoth? Is that going to be part of our bottom line?" And Perrin's like, "No." And with that, Zoe says, "Okay, I think I can live with that contract." And Caleb is a little bit more begrudging, but eventually kind of gives his consent on that too. And he goes, "I don't know what kind of backdoor deal you may, Perrin, but fine, that's fine by me." So with that, because you mentioned before how you wanted to be able to leave from time to time to do some exploring in areas.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you've gotten the blessing of the group.
Out of curiosity,
as long as we get some notice.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the behemoth we're getting as large or larger than you said? There were mechanical
Robots.
things robots that came with them.
Oh,
So
yeah, it's bigger than the robots. The
Okay.
robots are pretty big though. Actually, give me 2 seconds. I can show you a picture of. They're both identical. If you guys are curious to see.
are they
what
more
kind
like
of-
just the humanoid shaped robots that are big?
Yeah, they're just
Oh, okay.
shaped robots with like giant cannons along their right shoulder.
Like the ones we
Pretty
were
cool.
looking at before we settled on the behemoth.
Yeah, similar.
Okay.
Yeah, similar. They're northern guns known as the Hunter Mobile Gun. They are like 32 feet tall and 19 feet wide.
I see,
the
but not they got
oh,
nothing
double
on
cut.
us. I see. That's...
No
Guns are
idea.
better, but I don't think you're going to be in like a battle to the death unless you guys really fuck up.
They hate us.
We're the clown act.
I wonder if we should mention that the reason why we're getting a behemoth is because we found a dragon skeleton.
You don't
I mean,
need to
it
bring
would
that
be
up.
interesting to talk about.
Hey, if
And,
you want to do it as a discussion point. you can
Yeah,
do
as a
that.
discussion point,
It's
if
also-
people ask.
Yeah, it's also brought up in this conversation that the Endless Storytellers, they have a contract to perform during this festival for the next 3 days, and then they're going to be preparing for the new acts, resupplying over the next 2 weeks. And during that time, you'll have a lot of chance to one-on-one time. Caleb, in particular, will want to talk with anyone who's going to be doing any sort of show. He handles the talent pretty much. Zoe handles the more financial side of things. But you'll all have a chance to see how you individuals can incorporate into that, and we'll role play a lot of that. But that right now, the performers, the Endless Storytellers, are focused on the next 3 days, doing their job and performing for these plethora of fans who have come out. So